Welcome back to the Modern Old School Training Podcast. I'm Aaron King with Coach Bob King. And today's topic, we are talking about a very challenging position for track and field. That is, if you are someone that's either coaching or you're an athlete that's running the 100 meter, 200 meter, and or 400 meter, or really just if it's all combined, those are all very different animals. From 1 to 2, it's not that different. From 2 to 4, it's a little different. But from 1 to 4, it's totally different animals.
It's the Pacific Ocean. It's an impossible gap.
Right. So we're going to really, this topic is one of the questions we got from Kristen on the app. So again, if you guys have questions or comments about your training, any sport for speed, agility, conditioning, anything, leave it below or create a free account at themost.fit and message with us there. Everything we talk about today is going to be linked below to a workout that actually reflects all this. And we got Coach Bob King in his natural habitat with a whiteboard. We're just going to get into it. I don't know how you want to prioritize what event where we want to start.
That's going to be easy. If it doesn't matter on the combination. If you're a coach, athlete, either one, and the 100, 200, 400, they interchange whether you think they do or not. Let me give you the example. As I did as a high school coach for 20 years in track and field, as a high school coach that you might be now or at any level, what's the last event? The 4x4. You are looking for suspects. Right. You're going to round them up. And so if you're the 100-meter guy, you might be the last man or woman standing to run that third leg of the 4x4. So the 400 meters is going to be in your world. Now, planning for that is easy. And let me explain how we do it. I always start blank. I don't care if this is my 2000th workout. I'm going to have a blank piece of paper or a whiteboard so I can do scribble, erase. And what I also like to do, write it up, leave it on my desk overnight. I come back the next day, I look at it, and I go, whoever wrote this didn't have a clue what they were doing, or if this was genius, I'll go accordingly. If it's genius, I think it is, I'll use it. If it's not good, start over. The number one thing that dominates all material information that goes on anything, the app or the whiteboard, are training themes. We live and die by training themes, and that will guide you and help this 100, 200, 400 dilemma kind of level out. So I'm going to put up an example of a day. We'll write them up in 4-week blocks so I can kind of systematize and everything's connected. So I can't write a week and come back and say, what did I do last week? So I'll put up on my whiteboard or my paper 4 weeks, and as soon as I can, the next 4 to get 8 weeks complete and not be random with my training design. All right, let's look at, let's say very simply, here's week 1. And with that, we have to go with day 1. And if I say themes, then it's going to look like this. I'm going to give the themes real quick on this side, and then over here I'm going to write the workout. So we're going to go 0 to 10 on day 1. Okay? Now, very simple. For track and field, that's going to be starts. It's short, explosive takeoffs. We have the program that's going to reflect that. It's so important for the 100, and I think for the 200. If your start's a little sloppy in the 400, you have room to recover. Not in the 100. So 0 to 10 has to be in there, but if you're an okay 400 meter person, a good start may be the difference to help you catch up when you attack that curve. All right, so we go there. Day 2, we're going to come back. We have to condition. And so the conditioning, another crucial point, the conditioning has to reflect the 400. The 100, 200 meter people can definitely benefit from that. But if you're going to call in a 100 meter person to do that 4x4 final leg, then they need to have experience doing that. So the 400 gets preference on the conditioning day 1, which we do the heavy early in the week and taper toward the end of the week. If this is off season, we're going to reflect the flow of an in-season week. It'll be more reps and heavier volume, but we're going to reflect an in-season approach. Okay, we get to day 3, 0 to 30. Now, be sure you understand that these are themes that designate what are we going to use as tools that day, what are kind of the distances we're going to use that day. But you're not limited to running 10 yards. You're not limited to running 30 yards. What you're going to do, and if you're out of the country, you can put meters on there if that helps you. We'll put meters. You're running 0 to 30, meaning once you take off, we're now into sprint strides. Sprint strides are like weight room reps. You get stronger by doing reps and adding weight to the bar. You get faster by doing good quality strides and speed strides, sprint strides, to get faster. So that's going to be reflected in the drills and distances we run. Day 4, we've been hitting it pretty good. What we're going to come back with here, I'm just going to use the initials, active recovery. So that's basically, I like to just go out and we're going to do a 1 mile jog. Okay, just, no time, just finish. But that's also a good day to come back and work starts. Starts fit, I think, starts work up here and starts work down here because it's, and handoffs to put them together because they're short burst. And you can call it off anytime you want. You're not going to start till it gets dark. You're going to get the starts, get a half a dozen, up to 10 starts, call it a day. So this is a good teaching opportunity, a teaching day. And then on day 5, to reflect that the in season where you might be, if you're in off season, you're done for the weekend, right? But if you're in season, you're tapering, but you also have the meet coming up. And just keep this in mind. When you count stressors of training, the track meet is 100% effort. So it's a full-blown workout exertion. Even if you don't make finals, you only run a couple events, it's full effort. So you need to account for that. So this comes back to being a conditioning and not quite as heavy, kind of a quality thing. Track and field coaches are big on quality versus quantity. So what we want to end up doing is heavy duty here and then more a quality kind of thing. And we have what we call speed ladders, which I'll put up here right now. So if I take and say, now what does all this look like in practice? So here's a close-up of day 1. Every day, I'm going to use our initials because if you use our training app, you go in and find the templates and you just hit that template and boom, it's your stuff is there. And we have initials, DIWU, our dynamic warm-up. So if you hit the template in the app, it's going to populate with all the moves to the dynamic warm-up. You're not looking for all these separate, what do I want to do here, what do I want to do there? You've got it. On 0 to 10 days, I'll write it out. It's also in the app. We have what we call a speed lead-up. You'll see speed lose, speed lead-up. Those are drills that reflect running mechanics, but they're also a little faster than the warm-up. So we have an acceleration. So the dynamic warm-up, contained, slower movements, speed lead-up. We're now starting to run out a little bit more limb movement and swing. And then we'll go in and use some of our tools. Like in this case, I like to use our 10 hurdle basic program. And that's just to fire the feet. You want impulse. You want tap, 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 tap. So this is just an extended warm-up. And so what we end up doing is doing the hurdle workout combined with some speed breaks. And so we're starting to just ramp up our training. At the end, we say conditioning or whatever you want to call it, but we're going to do a speed ladder to kind of finish off the workout to reflect all of this. And so with track and field, I think every event, well, let me back up. Track and field across the board is about speed, okay? Everybody figures that in 100 meters. You can't take off and go very far in a long jump if you don't have speed. If you do not have speed in the ring, you cannot throw the implement, the shot, discus, hammer, whatever it is you do. If you don't have speed in the ring, it's not going anywhere. So our speed ladders reflect what we're doing that day. And for me, our speed ladder, we have 2 of them. We have a short speed ladder and a long. And the way I label those, the short speed ladders are 100 meters and down. And the long ones, as you might guess, obviously go up over 100 meters. So on a 0 to 10 day, it might be a good day just to do the repeats of the speed ladder 40, 60, 80. You get to take off, but you get to accelerate, and keep this in mind. If you run fast, you have a conditioning element. If you recover and run fast again, you have a speed element. So the speed ladders are designed to accomplish what we're trying to achieve on the theme. So at 0 to 10, we can run 40, 60, 80, walk back, recover, and go back and go fast again. Nice little package. When we get out to 0 to 30 and the conditioning, the speed ladders get longer because on conditioning, we just got to push it. Because everybody, I grew up or learned my coaching from the aspect that you have a way to break down the 400 meters into different distances. And so the common theme was, and the last 100 meters is guts. So we have to do that with these types of conditioning.
On that speed ladder, it looks like you got a short. That you wrote it next to the long, but
yeah.
So what's an example of a long? So that would actually 40, 60, 80 would actually be a short speed ladder.
Yeah, I just was giving you an example. So if I wanted to come out on a long one like here, one of my favorites is 80, 100, 120. Okay, and we're not in a pure conditioning mode because that will go here. We will run like if you're at a 400 meter person. We may run speed ladders go both ways, a step downs and build up. And so my personal favorites are the step downs. And the reason I tag the step downs as my favorite on the speed ladder is because we're still operating on a speed theme. And so we're shortening the distance. So if we're doing a 400 meter step down, it might be 600, 500, 400. 500, 400, 300, and so forth. Those are significant distances when you're running fast. Anything over 30, 35 seconds changes the chemistry. So we're doing this, and in the app, you may have a template. You do have a template with a speed ladder of about 4 or 5 short versions, and depending on what you want to accomplish that day, we even have a short 10, 15, 20, 25. And because it's track and field, the template will tell you do 3. Right. Well, you may decide that, my athletes, I've got some quality athletes, so I'm going to just change the reps. I'm going to do 5 of those. And you have a pretty nice little package. All this stuff, all these drills reflect this idea, this theme of 0 to 10. And that's the beauty of the templates and the way the app. Now, go back to the very beginning where I say I start with a whiteboard and a blank sheet of paper, and what I end up doing is writing it and thinking about it and looking at my options and stuff. The cool thing about the app is after I spend time thinking and planning and plotting, this takes me about 90 seconds to enter into the app, review it, edit, post. So if I want my athletes and coaches to have it, off it goes.
All right, so this is week 1. This is kind of an example of like day 1 for the whole program. Where would you fit in handoffs into this?
Well, and that's why themes are so beautiful, because if a coach says, where do I add handoffs? It's going to be right here. Okay. Or it could be at the active recovery, because we all come into the handoffs in the shorter distance. The guy or girl is not coming off 100 meters. They're coming in from maybe 15, 20 meters. So it's a short run. So those two would go right here, because you're not doing. We all know that if you do a lot of handoffs and you get any hint of fatigue, your timing's off and you're wasting your time. So what we want to do is put the short stuff where it looks like it goes. It could even go here, but when you ask me that, first thing I'm going to say is 0 to 10 and active recovery, because we're taking our time with it.
All right, so from here, from just purely training, writing the program, you got your weeks, your themes, your days. What is kind of the ebb and flow of the intensity? I don't want to, maybe it's just traditional periodization, but like, where do you look from there?
It is periodization, but I think in track and field, I'm going to look at this volume, and that goes into the idea that coaches talk about quality and quantity, and volume is quantity. And I lean towards quality because I learned just in my coaching growing up, one of the Olympic coaches back in the day gave a lecture and talked about an athlete who had been sick but had trained and was a fast kid. And so just didn't train the week of the Olympic trials, was coming in for 1,600 meter trials, and next thing you know, between being sick and in bed, just dove across the finish at the trials to finish in 3rd to make the spot on the Olympic team, to which he said to the audience, do we want to be fit or fast? Because she wasn't very fit, but she was really fast.
Yeah. All right. So, is there anything before we wrap it up? I mean, that was a lot of great content. So, before we wrap it up, is there anything that you want to hit on that maybe we didn't get just here? Talking again, I touched on the handoffs. Any good 100-meter runner is going to probably be running the 4x1 as well. So that's why we work on handoffs, and et cetera. But
if you're an athlete, a high school athlete or a high school coach, we all know that those athletes are interchangeable. Speed first. You can get them in shape. Right. And I just think that speed is the first thing, because if they can run all day but can't catch anybody or outrun anybody, it doesn't matter. So the conditioning is built in, because when we do stuff, it's unwritten, but it's all high speed. We don't have any paced activities. And so the high speed stuff will condition you, but you want to be fast first. That's why they put a clock on it.
All right. So, again, this workout that we started to write right in front of you will be available. The links will be below, and I'll include some of the other ones, like the 1x10, hurdles, and things like that, some of the different training programs. We'll see what we have. We're going to continue to write them, so as they're available, I'll just keep pasting them below. So check the links below. And, we got just about every single event you can think of. Really.
Yeah, they're all in there. The throwers, we have throwers, hurdles, long and short hurdles. We're only going out to 3,200 meters right now. I'm not into 3K, 4, and 10K just yet, because we do that. I have trained, I've written workouts and trained successfully different marathoners. The last one I trained was doing a qualifying for Boston and qualified, which was huge for her, great for me, because we've done that more than once.
All right, awesome. Well, I am Aaron King. It's Coach Bob King. You can find Coach Bob King on Instagram and Twitter at Coach Bob King, simply put. And I am Aaron King at Deep Snap, Instagram, Twitter. If you have any questions, comments, again, leave them below. Get on the app, create a free account, themost.fit. We'll have the links below. It's all free to sign up. We send out the newsletter every week with the workouts. If you have questions, though, let us know. We might just answer it here on the show at Modern Old School Training. Until next time, I'm Aaron King. It's Coach Bob King. We'll see you later.